So, buddy, great to have you back. And I'm curious what you could, if you have anything to share, you could do that. If you
Yeah,
want to
we
put
I have
something
some
up.
stuff. So yeah, let me start with something. I think okay, let me check that. Yeah,
Okay.
there's this. I think we have to go to geopolitics at the end, but
Okay.
let's start with this. This is the thing that I think everyone in the U.S. should be talking about. It's the U.S. federal budget deficit.
Because tax receipts came in lighter than expected when
Yeah,
there's more demand, more need for paper
yeah,
to be sold. Okay,
yeah.
go ahead.
But they from the third quarter of 2022 to the first quarter of this year, the real GDP of US grew about 1,068 billion. So, but do you have any idea how much did the federal budget deficit grow at the same time?
No.
Over 3,000 billion.
Okay.
So they spend over 3,000 billion to get the economy growing by 1,000.
Yeah.
Basically.
Not a great return on
No,
stimulus.
no,
Yeah.
but everybody in like macroeconomics knows how bad the trade-off between government spending and GDP growth is.
Right.
It's just all these modern monetary theorists and all those people, they have just completely mixed up,
It
messed
used to
up.
be more
Basically.
effective. They at the beginning they get more bang for their buck, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
as
that's
and
that's
as
a good.
Yeah, and as time went on, I remember at first hearing this coming out of China. The bang for the buck wasn't as good. That's why they're not doing it as much, and so it kind of loses its impact
Yeah, it
as
does.
it continues.
Yeah, it becomes like the productivity drops really quickly. And now I don't really understand what the Biden administration is doing. If you look at the estimates on the interest rate
Hmm.
expenses, they're in the exponential trajectory. Exponential, like going to 2040.
Okay.
Like, yeah, so if you really if you
So are
if
you
at
are
least
you recommending people buy long bonds, U.S. bonds?
I don't know. I don't know. I
Huh?
don't know.
Is this
I
a
don't
is
think
this a buy signal
no,
on
no. I
treasuries?
mean, I don't know. I don't know because the inflation outlook is not good either.
Yeah,
So the
yeah.
inflation is really sticky, and services are driving it, and all this thing like the thing is that one other figure I could show you, but the thing is that the household debt servicing costs they haven't really edged up at all with the Fed hiking cycle.
Because most people had lower mortgage rates locked in,
Yeah,
right?
16, something like that, and corporations too.
Okay.
But it's not like it's
The
not like
government.
it's not working like it used to. The interest
Okay.
rate rises, and there's this
Right.
this
Yeah.
crazy budget deficit. It's just the economy should go close to a recession with the draconian hikes, but it hasn't yet. But another thing is that okay, there's the
Yeah. We had
number
another
of
failure. We had another failure.
yeah, we had another failure, but
Yeah.
it was actually we run the Republic First Bank was actually the worst performing bank in our stress tests just a month ago when we ran the stress tests for CRA losses, so commercial real estate losses. So
Okay.
this
First
bank
casualty then of
first guy,
that.
yeah, it topped our list basically.
Okay.
It was the worst performer, so
So
it was not
let
a
me
surprise.
ask you this. This could be valuable to people because I've been thinking about it. In your research or as a subscriber, I think it's important that people know what are the safest banks. There's probably no such thing as a safe bank,
No, they're
but
actually all we haven't concluded our analysis actually on the let me check we have this. me pull it up. So we have this like we have this
Galaxy.
section in
Okay.
our in our uh, in our newsletter, the GNS Economics newsletter, and they are
Okay, I
like
see.
these banking safety warnings, debt warnings, and actually here it was the Republic First Bank. So we track we track these banks, and we have also the most safe banks in the U.S. So we have
Okay.
this, but we keep these completely behind the paywall because we don't. This is an
It takes a
ethical
lot of
issue.
work to it
No, no,
takes a
no.
lot of
Yeah,
work.
I know,
Yeah.
but this is an ethical issue. We do not want to start a bank run,
Okay.
by saying that keep out of these banks. I researched financial crisis for 10 years in the academia, so this is an ethical question. So if you but it's we have to be ethical also towards our customers. So we will provide the information. We just do not make it public, and we make it
Okay.
very clear on the disclaimers that these lists shall never become public. So you can look at the data, the call report data if you want, and do the analysis by yourself. It takes a lot of work, but still you can do it. So it's semi-public, but we just don't want to be the ones who start in
Okay.
even if the theory.
You're gonna let Martin Weiss be the guy.
Yeah, he can
Huh?
do that.
All
But
right,
we
because
don't.
he's been
We don't.
doing that forever.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know him so well, but that's how I understood.
yeah,
But there is one more thing on about this, is that two things actually. This is like many like analysts in the social media, for example, they calculate or follow the bank credit from the database of the Federal Reserve, but it includes also the certain treasury holdings. So it doesn't give a correct picture on the state of actual bank credit. So what is going to consumers and households, but this does. So loans and leases. And as you notice, now it's very low here. It hasn't
yeah.
never been lower. Let me see if yeah, it has never been lower outside recessions.
Right.
So this is something. So this is
Okay.
the underlying
Weak.
strength of the U.S. economy is not high,
Okay.
but there's
There's
more. There's
also
more.
do you follow the RV indicator? Because the
Mm,
RV market has been crashing lately.
oh
Everyone bought an RV from equity that they made
no,
in the
we do not follow
real
that now.
estate. Huh?
Okay, no, we don't follow that now. Maybe we should.
Okay. And anyway, that's the first to go.
Yeah,
Everyone's dumping them. So, all right,
but
go
this
ahead.
is this is the most worrying part. This is the commercial industrial loans in U.S. commercial banks, and if you look at this, it has been flat for 2 years or declining. And
Okay.
big US corporations, they go to the capital markets, they issue bonds, they get credit for money from there. But the small and medium-sized enterprises, they use banks. And what this indicates is that the small and medium SMEs in the US, which are the backbone of the economy, are already in a recession. There's no other way to interpret this. If the lending, if the borrowing doesn't grow, bank lending doesn't grow to corporations, then you have a private sector recession already. So this is what this signals.
Okay.
And I don't think that it has to become visible at some point. You just don't turn this around like, flip of a switch. US corporations are heavily indebted. So this is a warning sign that recession is coming. It
Isn't
comes
this just
right.
really lining things up for
What do you mean?
lining things up for Donald Trump to become the president again?
Yeah,
That by then in the fall, if markets aren't acting good and the economy we're finally admitting is weakening,
yeah,
that's kind of like the last nail in the coffin, isn't it,
yeah.
for
It
him?
is. It is. But yeah, but if you were Joe Biden, or well, Joe is probably not in charge anymore, but his administration, and you would lose. in the elections. What would you do if basically the federal spending has been the only thing keeping the economy afloat?
Yeah, you'd keep doing it.
No, or you cut it. And then when Trump takes over in the spring of 25, the economy crashes.
I see.
That's the kind of the I don't know, the sinister plan. But that is something we have been warning that could happen. That they run this insane fiscal stimulus at full blast, and if they lose in November, they just cut it.
Can they do that without Congress?
Yeah,
That's what the
yeah.
Republicans have wanted.
Well,
Well, I
they
don't
can
want to
do
get
the
too political,
but
but
they can, of course not.
oh,
They cannot cut it all the way, but they can cut a lot.
okay. I
And
kind of read from Fed guy that Trump would become, he called him Chairman Trump, not because, like, not like Mao, but
mhm,
like Powell, that there's going to be a whole new regime of interest rate policy and the value of the dollar to move from Treasury to the White House.
it's possible. Yeah, if you consider what Trump is planning, like what has been leaked, like the idea that Federal Reserve would become even less independent than it is now. So
Right.
all
Okay.
these things, and
All right.
Trump has a history of you know issuing defaults, as you know.
Mhm.
So
He's a king of debt. King of
yeah, he's
debt.
the king of debt, yeah, and he
Yeah.
even flirted the idea of U.S. defaulting, federal government
Wow.
defaulting on debt, which was then quickly erased, but he floated the idea.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I would say that after this year, there will be a very tumultuous period in
Yeah.
many ways.
Yeah.
For some reason, this is like preparation for
That's
something they
what
keep.
gold is saying, isn't it?
Yeah, gold is saying something. Yeah, definitely. I
I
think
mean, the
first,
strong doubt. You made the point that higher yields don't work like they used to.
no,
Gold has been fighting higher yields for a long time and even accelerated during the
yeah,
recent rally to higher yields and a
yeah,
stronger dollar.
yeah, yeah, but
Have you ever seen gold and the dollar trade together in this way where you have a lot of dollar bulls and a lot of gold
well,
bulls at the same time?
I'm not an expert on those, but no, I haven't
Yeah, it's been
basically.
a
So no,
while. I
no.
can't remember.
But I think there is so many good rumors. Let's say that the manipulation of gold. So
Yeah.
the gold price by the central bank. So you know,
Okay.
say,
How does
but
it look
yeah,
for? Go ahead, Thomas.
yeah. Okay, I think I could. Let me see. That's global.
Outlook for Europe while this is happening in the U.S. Worse? Are they ahead of us? Does a sovereign debt crisis start in Europe or a banking crisis start in Europe, then move to Asia, and then finally hit our
No,
shores? Do you see a
it's
sequencing?
it's brewing here. But the really
Oh,
interesting thing is that if the crash of the yen continues, what will happen to Chinese banks?
okay.
There could be a massive outflows from China.
Ha- okay. Hasn't that been going on for a while?
I don't know. We're not sure. It's so difficult to get a decent data from China, so
Okay.
we don't know. I
Yes.
tried to take a deeper look at it at the end
Why
of
does
this
that
week.
hurt? Then just explain why the weak yen hurts China.
It could hurt. It
Could
could
hurt.
hurt if well if like China and Japan they have this like strange relationship for quite some time. Like in the early 1990s, there was a banking crisis in Japan, and actually a lot of the money flowed out and went to southeast, China and Vietnam and all those, and
Yeah.
created a massive boom there. And when it crashed, they returned to Japan. So when yen crashes, it may say first it probably send a stress signal, but also it makes like putting your funds into Japan very cheap. So if there's a risk that Chinese banks would get hurt from this strong devaluation, people could just flow to safety, considering that they consider Japanese banks more stable as Chinese banks. As we have now seen, the China banks are hurting really bad. So
Yeah.
this is the simple mechanism, but there's more. I haven't fully internalized it yet, but this is a risk.
Okay. All right.
So what has started from Japan now? It could like the repercussions could go all over the world. Like if you think of the during Friday and Monday, the the yen USD pair,
Yeah.
the moves were something like 2.5%
Yeah.
in 2 days. That's insane. Like from
Yeah.
the major currency. So
Exactly.
that
Like things
hmm,
spinning out of control, and that's why they spent I don't know, they're talking like 10 billion or something on the intervention the other day.
yeah, yeah. I haven't seen the figures, but I saw the reports. Of course, everybody knew that Bank of Japan stepped in
Yeah.
when the pair crashed. Everybody knew. Okay, now they came,
Yeah. They
but
got
that
up to
doesn't.
160.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then 156
Yeah.
about, and
Yeah.
now it's steadily rising again. So I'm just wondering what the BAE what are they like planning to do next?
They have to raise rates, don't they?
They have to, but how can they? If you look at debt levels,
Yeah.
it's a
Okay.
Japan is so few bar, if you know the term.
Yeah, I
It's
do.
it's really bad.
Okay.
So
All right.
it's
So
just
there's another risk. So
yeah, there is
kick,
another risk, and if one major currency crashes, it doesn't usually stop there. Then you start to see these crashes all over because the trust to the system just falls off the cliff or collapses. So when you have currency crashes, major currency crashes usually do not come alone. There's a lot of other crashes following them. This is like what we know from history. Like if there's debt crisis, usually currency and debt crisis go together. But if there's a debt crisis, serious debt crisis in one of the major economies, it will spread.
so are you proponent of Triffin's dilemma?
Well, now you have to remind me what is that.
Luke talked about it. It's like, both where both choices are bad, to,
Yeah,
weaken the dollar, or, just like the numbers that came in
yeah,
here with lower tax receipts and larger deficits.
yeah. No, and this there's like
Yeah.
safe havens are getting really scarce now, and I think gold is telling us that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what kind of targets do that's not really your forte, coming up with targets, but I mean, you've been bullish gold since we've been talking.
Yeah.
And how does it feel to finally be just that your reasoning was finally price justified your reasoning? How'd that
Well,
feel?
I don't feel happy because it entails it like forecasts that something horrible is coming.
Okay.
But you have to, but really, I think that if things really fall off the rails, gold can go to 3 to even 5,000 or higher.
Yeah.
So that's how it
Okay.
goes.
Oh, so we
So
have some. So this is, I've been talking that it's been quiet in the Middle East because of Passover, which ends today, and May is, could be a go month. So I saw your points there. That
yeah, this is like
that Israel and the U.S. is underestimating the threat from
yeah,
Iran.
yeah, and that became clear to me quite quickly when I started to do the analysis. So, but it's just this is the worst case, the 10 points of the 10 worst case points for it, and we have the Iron strike Israel with missiles, and that's now a check. And I don't if that was Israeli retaliation, what they did, it was the kind of the greatest show of weakness from Israel probably ever.
Right.
So can we really trust that? I don't think we can. And there seems to be this strange force pushing this deeper escalation everywhere. Like the one thing, if you like, there have been statements from Finnish Minister of Defense, Antti Häkkänen, for example, stating that Russia is a threat to the whole democratic world. That is completely unheard of any Finnish minister or president any time. You don't issue such statements from your neighbor, a big neighbor. And Kaja Kallas, the Estonian prime minister, she's just nuts. And then Macron and all that. Why is it that the Ukrainian cause is our cause? It's not. And it's like Finland engaging in defense contracts with a country going into or in a war against Russia is also completely unheard of. So these are these massive trajectories of escalation going on here and in the Middle East, which seem not to serve any other purpose than bringing more chaos and, of course, money to the military-industrial complex. But there is a push for further escalation. It's our baseline in Middle East, in Ukraine, that the escalation will continue, even though there are pauses. But it seems that they're really trying to, whoever it is, they are trying to push us into a war.
Yeah.
And it's something like, this is the tail risk we have to acknowledge. It doesn't come like tomorrow or next month, but in, let's say, in 2-3 years' time, it could come.
Okay.
And this is something we have to be very careful with, because then trading, well, of course, there's other issues, but trading in war conditions is rather tricky.
Someone's saying that this is Putin's talking points.
Like what?
Like what, Jim? Go ahead. Free speech. Finland speaking truth. We need to stop Russia and autocrat expansion.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that geopolitics, there is not really good or bad. There's just facts.
They're all bad.
Yeah, they're all bad. There's these things that these big powers follow, whether it's the United States, Russia, or China. They play this. And the thing is that people tend to forget Russia is not the Soviet Union. Its economy is the size of Texas. And the state finances almost collapsed when they took over Crimea. There is no way Russia would move to further into Europe. It would just, the economy would implode. Why would they do that? So I'm not worried about Russia anymore. 2 years ago, I was worried. Now I'm worried what the NATO leaders will do, because Russian leaders are, when they speak, it's aggressive at times, but it's logical. Okay, these are their aims. But what are the aims of Macron, Tusk, our leaders in Finland? Why are they escalating? Why is this warmongering going on? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't serve any logic that would benefit the European populace. It makes absolutely no sense. So that's my worry now. So what is the driver behind all this? So
the banks. Let me ask
I don't
you
know.
this. So the U.S. is sending long-range missiles to Ukraine for the first time. Is that going to be a red line for Russia?
Could be. Who knows? But they will definitely strike deeper in the Ukraine and in a more devastating power. And then the question becomes when they will, when Kremlin sees that they need to strike like some bases in Poland or whatever. I think we are very far from that. because Russia has been clear about its her goals all the time. I think they would just want this regime gone, and they want these pieces of land, and okay, that's it. But
Okay.
the escalation from the Western side, which started, I don't know, year and a half ago, is what worries me, because there is no clear logic. At least we can, deduct from its, directly.
Well,
Something
there
is
were
off.
there were detractors from sending more aid there.
Yeah,
Not the majority, but a minority.
yeah.
Um, so we have to keep our eyes on the globe, besides
Yeah,
the finance. Because
yeah. I would.
this would, I mean, this is bigger than anything the Fed, bigger than the Fed, bigger
Anything.
than any
Yeah,
kind of monetary policy. Um,
anything.
anyway,
Anything we
that's
have seen, but in markets you need to look at the yen where it's going, and the gold. And if the
okay.
gold really starts skyrocketing again at some point, then something really bad is going to come, most likely.
Okay.
And the U.S. bond market is also, it's sending all kinds of signals, so it has to be very careful with this. But yen and gold are the harbingers now. I would
Okay.
watch those.
All right. Well, it's great to catch up with you, and I'm glad you stir up controversy. And you're ready to answer all questions. So if people, you know, want to, if people want to contact you and possibly subscribe, is going to X the best way for people to do
X
that?
or just Google GNS Economics newsletter or Tuomas Malinen newsletter. It's
Okay.
easy. You can find it right away. And it's just, I think I become like, when we have been talking, I was a bit doomish, and now I'm like full. So, but it's just where the data leads us. And it's not like, we're in a forecasting business. We don't have the luxury of taking agendas or strong political opinions in our forecast. We have to understand what is going to happen next. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it seems that we always like forecast three scenarios: the good, the optimistic, the consensus, and the worst. And it seems that we are heading the worst. The worst scenario is what we are following, more or less. And it is deeply troubling also for us. So,
Okay. Yeah. So don't
and
shoot the
enough doom and
messenger.
gloom for this day.
Yeah, don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
no,
what
yeah,
I say.
yeah.
Thanks for being a watchman for us, Thomas.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
All right. Really, I want to thank you. We've been talking for years now, like we're
Yeah,
friends. And
yeah,
want to thank you for, I know the hard work that goes into, you know, doing a dig through banks to find out, and all the research you do, and that you come here and you uh, give it away. So, and to, enlighten, edify people, or give them something to chew on.
yeah,
Keep an open mind. It'll keep your
yeah,
account open.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
The
I
thing is
say.
that try to be in the position where nothing big surprises you anymore. Then you know how to invest and act. That's what we
Yeah,
are trying to get our subscribers and all people, to do. Just prepare in a mental level. When you are prepared in a mental level, you are ready to take enormous challenges, because those challenges are always also opportunities.
exactly. Exactly.
Exactly.
Let's
Yeah.
wrap it with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like the definition of crisis. It's danger and opportunity.
Yeah.
And,
Exactly.
the danger is you miss the opportunity because you're too freaked out.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, I have my tranquilizers stocked up on them, and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't
I
worry.
don't. I don't. Yeah.
I know.
Good.
My Xanax will get me through any global crisis that I ever have to deal with.
Yeah.
Anyway, great talking to you, buddy.
You too. Thanks.
I will. We'll talk later in the summer. Okay.
Yeah. Will do. Will do.
All right. Thomas Malinen. Find him on X at MT Malinen, and very interesting. It's a Finnish point of view, and he's been right. Can't fight that. He liked gold when people said, "Oh, all it is it's an old relic. It doesn't work anymore." I've talked about gold. I've heard people say, "There's that yuppie still picking up rocks," because I don't know anything about Bitcoin, so I just pick up rocks. So um, go outside today and pick up a few rocks on this pullback in gold. And I'll see everyone tomorrow. Good luck today. Team's there for you. 14 minutes, morning edge. Try the trial and go into the morning edge. So you're prepped for the biggest week we've had in a long time between the Fed, the refunding package, and NFP. Worth a buck. You don't like it, I'll wire you a refund. Adios, everyone. And remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. See you guys. Good hunting.
Hey traders, this is Blake Morrow with ForexAnalytix. Thanks for stopping by our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like these videos, share them, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the content that we provide here for free. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you in the next video.